Alrighty, I wanted to go over Tuesday's bell ringer with you guys. Number one will always be a capitalization question, at least for a little while. So what we're looking for is which words in the sentence we need to capitalize. The first word we need to capitalize is Emma. Let's just circle it. Emma. Because Emma is a name, and we know that names are proper nouns. We also have here Emma's last name, Willard, so we need to capitalize that as well. So Emma Willard started Troy Female Seminary in 1821. It may be noted that Troy Female Seminary sounds like it could be a school of some kind, because for those of you who don't know, seminary is a place where people go to become like pastors and preachers. If this is the name of a school, then we also need to capitalize all of the words in the title of that name or the title of the school. All right, so that is our capitalization. Punctuation, the answer in fact is in the book's glossary. I see that this is a complete sentence. It is not a question because there's no question word, and it doesn't really sound like there's very much excitement happening. Hang on. There we go. Focus, camera. There we go. So the answer, in fact, is in the book's glossary. I'm going to put a period at the end. This sounds like just a plain old sentence to me. I also have these two words here, in fact. I don't necessarily need these words in the sentence. The sentence, if I took these out, the sentence would say the answer is in the book's glossary. That's a sentence by itself because we have the answer doing something. It's in the book's glossary. So in fact is extra information. Whenever we have extra information like that, we actually have what is called an appositive phrase. Okay? And an appositive phrase is, it can be two things. It can be one, extra information, extra info, or it can be two, a definition. We could be defining what we're talking about. Okay, so for instance, I could say the answer, and then if I were defining that, I would say the one in the back of the book, maybe, is in the book's glossary or something like that. But here I have extra information. And whenever we have an appositive phrase like that, the punctuation is to put a comma before and a comma after. Okay, so appositive phrases, we put comma before, and after. Okay. All right, the last thing in that sentence that I see is books. Now, am I talking about more than one book, or is there only one book here? Well, I think we have the answer. One answer is in the book, so I think this is really one book. So why is there an S? Well, the S is there because the glossary actually belongs to the book. So, in order to show possession, we need an apostrophe. Okay, an apostrophe. Because apostrophes show possession. Okay. Now, I have to decide if I have one owner or two owners. If I have one owner, then the apostrophe goes before the S, like that. If I have more than one owner, then the apostrophe goes after the S, okay? So here, I only have one book that's owning this glossary, so I have one owner, which means my apostrophe should go before the S, right there. The next number 3, is parts of speech. What we're going to do is not only label the part of speech that each word has in the sentence, we're also going to define the job that that part of speech is doing. Okay, so for those of you who've been in education for a little while, which you guys have as 9th graders, Spot ran. We should know that Spot is probably a dog, right? Or some animal named Spot, or maybe a kid even named Spot. And Spot is running. So Spot being an animal of some kind is probably a thing, right? And we know that things are nouns. Yes, go get a snack. Yes. All right. So Spot is a noun. But what job is Spot doing in the sentence? Well, he's really who the whole sentence is about. We call that our subject. So Spot now is a subject noun. And what did Spot do? Well, Spot ran. Ran is an action, and we know that actions are verbs. So we're going to label it a verb. But what job is that verb doing in the sentence? Did Spot run somewhere? Did he run in a certain kind of way? No, he did not. There's nothing else in the sentence for that verb to connect to or to drive us towards. So this verb is actually what we call an intransitive verb, an IV, okay? Intransitive verbs do not go anywhere. They stop with the verb. Number 4, we're going to begin diagramming sentences because my students who maybe struggle a little bit in English but are really good in math and science, diagramming is good for them because it's a way to visually see a formula for the way sentences are put together. So I will never test you on diagramming, but it's just a different way of looking at a sentence. So we're going to do this every Tuesday and Thursday to kind of help us learn what these parts of speech are and those jobs that they're doing. Okay, and today's diagram is super easy because when we diagram, we draw a baseline and we start with our subject noun. So Spot goes on our baseline. He's our subject noun. Then we draw a bisecting line here to separate our subject from the predicate. Sorry, that should be one line. Okay, so the subject from the predicate. And the predicate is the verb and everything that goes with the verb. Well, here we only have one verb. So ran is what goes on this side. And that is our diagram for today. Number 5, neurons are nerve cells. They are located in the brain. They do not touch. The first thing we look for is repetition. Do we see anything that is repeated? Well, not necessarily the word, but the idea is repeated when we say they. Because what exactly are they? They is referring to neurons, right? They is neurons. So we're actually repeating that idea. We can get rid of the repetition. Then we look for definitions. Do we have a definition? Yes, we do. Our very first sentence is a definition. Neurons are nerve cells. Anytime we have a definition, we can, just like up here with a positive phrase, we can create, we can create a definition, okay? So I could take this definition here of my neurons, and I could start my sentence with what I'm defining, neurons. I could simply put a comma before my definition, and they're defined as nerve cells. So I could put nerve cells here. Then I have to have a comma after my definition. So I'm going to put a comma here. And then I can finish the sentence by combining these last two here, these sentences, into one. So neurons, nerve cells, are located in the brain and do not touch. That would work. Are located in the brain and do not touch. Period. Okay, do I need a comma with my and here? The answer is no, because in order for me to put a comma here, everything before the comma and would have to be a complete sentence, and everything after the comma and would have to be a complete sentence. It's true for the first part. Neurons, nerve cells, are located in the brain. I could put a period here and that would be a complete sentence. But is it true for the second part? Do not touch. I'm missing something here. I'm missing what exactly it is we're not touching. So this part is not a complete sentence. Therefore, I do not need a comma. All right, if you have any questions about what we went over or what was discussed, please shoot me an email. Otherwise, that is Tuesday's Bell Ringer.